Hello. So we've been witnessing a trade war between USA and China. In fact, today President Trump announced that he had some form of a deal going with China, and for the next 3 months the tariff's going to come down to 10% from astronomical 125 or 245 percentage announced recently. That's one big development. On the sidelines, there's been a war brewing between India and China, India and Pakistan. Pakistan being China's stooge or a proxy in Asia to keep India in check, to keep it unbalanced. So the news has been full of the trade wars on one side and an actual war brewing in Ukraine, one in the Middle East, and now popping up in Asia between India and Pakistan. Now, the question arises, what were the motivations for this undeclared war between India and Pakistan? And was this war related to the ongoing US China trade war? So let's take a look at the facts here. As soon as India hit three air bases deep in Pakistan around May 11th with its missiles and disabled three airfields, among them an airfield near a nuclear weapons storage site. The Pakistan's DGMO, one of the guys, commanders in the field essentially, desperately initiated calls with his counterpart in India and asked for an initiation of a ceasefire. At the same time, the Trump administration had been dealing with Pakistan and India, and this desperate calls from Pakistan essentially started serious negotiations to bring about a ceasefire. The motivation for the Pak aggression primarily was jihadi killings. Primarily, the motivation was to stymie India's growing economy, to negatively impact India's growth, threaten the countries such that China's production lines closing up recently will think twice before going to India. So, who gains by this war, one might ask? Clearly, just 2 weeks before the war started, Apple had declared that all its manufacturing of iPhones would move from China to India pretty soon in a year and a half to 2 years. Now, that was a bellwether. Other industries were thinking about doing the same, and this indeed did rattle China. So, what do? They call up the stooge Pakistan and say, hey, bring them down a notch or two. So, if it is China, Pakistan's promoter and funder, so to speak, who might be thinking about some strategic moves, this is China's move to hurt India using their foot soldiers, one might ask, or guns for hire, Pakistan. Now, interesting, isn't it? Now, there's some strategic considerations one ought to think about now. But before we do that, let's briefly review the war situation. On April 22nd, Pakistan-sponsored jihadis killed 26 people in Kashmir, mostly Hindu civilians. May 7th, India launched Operation Sindoor, conducted precision strikes on terror camps in Pakistan. May 7th, Pak fired 15 missiles at Indian cities. May 8th night, Pakistan's second wave fired 300 to 400 drones at 36 Western Indian towns and cities. Most were shot down or neutralized by jamming. May 10, India hits and damages several airfields in Pakistan, including a couple in big cities. And May 11th, a ceasefire was called. These were the events. What would China get by instigating a war? It could show India as being an unstable place, stop production lines moving out of China now, show USA that it has very few other options other than China, and extend its hegemony over Asia. So now let us look at some strategic considerations and ramifications of this war under the influence of the US-China trade considerations. Number one, Pakistan's nuclear bluff has been called. War can and will be conducted under the nuclear umbrella going forward. You can't just wave the nukes and say, hey, I got it, I'm going to shoot myself in the head if you don't stop. No longer effective to wave the nukes when Indian drones can wreak revenge. India's air defense was unable to achieve dominance within days, so it needs to carry more punch going forward. Drone wars are here. Wasting money on expensive fighter jets is not needed anymore. So India does not have to buy an F-35 or Sukhoi 57 if we can make do with excellent drones that can take down airplanes, fighter jets in the future. That's one thing to consider. Don't waste time, 35 million or 50 million or 100 million on a fighter jet that can either get shot down by a barrage of S-400 or something similar, Patriot missiles, or not get taken down by drones that are pretty capable. So that's a good consideration going forward, the strategic issue. Again, the Pakistan mullah and Hindu-hating, Kafir-hating military and the political loonies in Pakistan cannot just send jihadis and hope to hurt India without India exacting revenge. Each time it's going to be more expensive, given that it's a basket case of an economy in Pakistan. Every time India hits Pakistani-based jihadis factories, there is a 5-year lull on the average before more militant activities gets picked up in India. Then it comes up again. It's like a whack-a-mole promoted by Chinese weapons, mind you, Chinese aircrafts and anti-aircraft guns and all of that being provided to by China regularly to Pakistan to instigate trouble in India and in the region. So going forward, there's a new normal in South Asia as one is to completely isolate Pakistan if possible and let it stew in its own hateful rhetoric and financial problems. And then time to have, for India especially, time to have the BLA in Balochistan and the TTP take down Pakistan and Orchha too as a leverage over them. Interestingly, Chinese drones and satellite intelligent operators based in Pakistan probably in big cities there, as well as in China, are suspected to have helped Pakistan in its missile attacks and air force attacks. So there's intelligence channel there, chain of command actually being run remotely by China is very likely. Chinese are sure to do things to ensure the industries do not move to India. That would hurt them too much. So now, what would the US like to do? The US would like to make sure India is capable of holding off China and its proxies, but not too strong to take down Pakistan. So, US does not want India to take down Pakistan. That much is clear, as US needs Pakistan also to take India down a notch when required and have a certain hegemony over India and Asia. So, that's the strategic considerations for US, China, and India and the region. Some tactical considerations are important. China's HQ-9B system, anti-aircraft, whatever, anti-missile system can be easily destroyed and is rather a dummy tool and useless for the most part. China's missiles, PI-15, that are supposed to be great, big, magnificent game changer, is a dud and can be brought down. The BrahMos missiles from India is quite effective. Most importantly, India's Akash air defense systems and other anti-drone, anti-missile systems do seem effective. They took down most of the 500-some drones that came in across the border in the last couple of days. And so some analysis shows only 8% hit ratio for Pakistan's air-to-air missiles. Most of them from China, let's see. Some of them from America too. Indian Air Force has operational integrity problems. Too many platforms in this Air Force from Russian, American, French, and whatnot. There's integration issue here going forward, and it's not going to go away. Coordination across multiple platforms, communications across multiple platforms at runtime, real time is going to be a challenge going forward too. Now, Pakistan has several US sidewinder missiles that they use, and their performance is tested and proven, which gives them a certain edge in the air force. But India's other BrahMos missiles and other missiles that they have developed by the DRDO in India seem to be quite capable, and that's pretty promising for them. But those are the tactical consideration. Now the question becomes, has India achieved what it set out to do in its mission to hit the terrorist targets and the sponsors, chief of them being the Pakistan Army itself, which is like a tin pot dictator based system. Pakistan is a rentier state. It lends itself to the highest bidder to do the services of a client, just like a lady of the night, one might say. So India has achieved what it set out to do, to hurt Pakistan, whack-a-mole, take care of the issue, at least for the next 5 years. Now, what has Pakistan gained? Notoriety to say, here I am, I'm going to shoot myself to the head if you don't listen to me or give me some attention. It's like a naughty, spoiled brat. Anyway, is the conflict really over? My guess it's not, because looking at the state of the Pakistan economy, India gains more by prolonging this war a few more weeks. Let Pakistan bleed $1 billion a week or whatever it is, the money that they don't have, and China may be willing to provide some, but not a whole lot. So India can bleed Pakistan dry for a while, and then see if it really hurts Pakistan and to make it change its behavior. So I expect the war to continue in some shape or form for at least 3 months. That might be seeing a good result at the end of that. And the Pak terrorist network might be at least subdued for another decade or two. Well, it's interesting times indeed.